Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute. Welcome to my morning musings. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a very great time. Got to work on, kind of my old hot rods and my old classic cars a little bit. Always enjoy that. It's a little bit of a way to get away. I think you know what I mean. I'm sharing with you some of the things that caused me to abandon the traditional amillennial view in which I was raised. I was a fifth generation member of the Churches of Christ. My father was a seasoned minister with, 50 years almost of Bible study. He was troubled by the traditional views of eschatology. He knew that the commentators weren't really getting it right, which is really obvious, by the way. I've said this often, but people who put so much emphasis on, quote, church tradition and the creeds and what have you, and just overtly condemn those who can see very clearly that the Scripture condemns what is being taught in the creeds and in church history. It really staggers me that people who claim to believe in sola scriptura, and they won't even tell you what their own eschatology is, and then secondly, all they'll do is kind of chant a mantra. Well, I believe what the historical church has taught. Folks, do you realize how confused the historical church has been when it comes to eschatology? Literally all over the map. Oh, well. Okay, that said, there is a tremendous parallel between Revelation and the book of Hebrews. Now, I've shared with you that in my book, Who is This Babylon? All right, I develop a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you. Revelation 14, well, really the entire book, but Revelation 14, 7 and 14, bring some of these parallels really home. And by the way, I'm certainly not the first to see these parallels. I developed them perhaps a little more extensively than I've seen in other places, but that's beside the point. Here's what I mean. In Galatians 4, we find a contrast between two women, two cities, two mountains, and two people. In Hebrews chapter 12, we find a contrast between two mountains, two cities, two people. Now, no one in the conservative evangelical community, no one denies Galatians was written prior to the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70, and in Paul's contrast between two women, two people, two mountains, he's talking about the contrast between Old Covenant Jerusalem, Old Covenant Israel, and the New Covenant, New Jerusalem, and the New Covenant people. Likewise, most all conservative scholars agree that Hebrews was written prior to the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. Hebrews chapter 12 is a contrast between the law given at Sinai and Zion. It is a contrast between the Old Covenant seed, the New Covenant seed. It is a contrast between the Old Covenant and the New Covenant. Okay? So we have Galatians 4 and Hebrews 12, both of which present two cities, two mountains, two covenants, two people. And everyone agrees, written before the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70, and applying to the contrast between Old Covenant Israel, Old Covenant Jerusalem, the Old Covenant Torah, and the New Covenant people of Christ. Well, guess what? We come to Revelation chapter 7, Revelation 14, and we find a contrast between two mountains, two cities, two people, and really between two covenants. And we're supposed to believe that this same identical contrast in Revelation that we find in Galatians and that we find in Hebrews, same precise parallels, same precise contrast. And we're supposed to believe that Revelation is about something totally disconnected, totally unrelated to what we find in Galatians and what we find in Hebrews. Now, like I said, I developed these not contrast, but yes, contrast and parallels in my book, Who is This Babylon? Now, don't forget, for those who order this book and mention YouTube, I will pay the shipping. Look, this is some tremendous material. And in many, many ways, I think it's definitive for helping us to determine the dating of Revelation prior to the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. And the application, identical with Galatians 4, identical with Hebrews chapter 12. And that is about the impending judgment of Old Covenant Jerusalem. Hey, I hope it piqued your curiosity a little bit. And from the emails I'm getting, it's working. And I'm so thrilled with that. Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind emails. Thank you for watching my morning musings. And we'll see you on the flip side.